In this program, we're going to demonstrate the hookup of a sander. But before we start with the actual procedure, let's take a quick look at the type of sander we commonly use in this area, a standard tailgate sander. This sander is a mechanical spreader, and it's powered by a hydraulic system and manually controlled by an operator. The spreader itself consists of a rectangular box, the hopper. An auger lays along the length of the hopper. As sand or salt is dropped in the hopper from the truck back, the auger conveys the material to the left side, where it drops on a spinning circular plate. And the spinning motion spreads the sanding material on the roadways in a constant, even rhythm. That rhythmic pattern of sand on road is the result of a process that began in a quiet garage many hours earlier. It began with Gene and Bob and Ron, three people who in the next few minutes will walk us through the basic steps of hooking up a sander. It's quite early. Gene has just arrived at the garage. He reports to Ron, his foreman, who is involved in arranging his magnetic scheduling board. Ron assigns Gene a route, a truck, and a helper. It won't be long before Gene is alone in his truck for a long stretch of time, so it's nice to start the day with a little conversation and human contact. With the check-in with his foreman complete, Gene drives his truck out of the garage and parks it near the sander. Normally, Gene hooks up the sander in the garage, but for the sake of this demonstration, we'll see everything done outside. Here, you see the sander Gene and his assistant Bob will be hooking up on its storage stand. Although there are many different storage stands in use, this one is a simple model. It's constructed out of Telspar material, and each side looks like an A-frame. The height of the stand is the same as that of the spreader when it's attached. Each side of the stand is bolted to the spreader, and consequently, the stand can be easily pushed to the back of the truck. Before initiating the hookup procedure, Bob checks out the spreader. He looks for anything in the hopper that could interfere with the operation of the auger. You see him remove a hydraulic hose which was stored in the hopper, and also a piece of wood which accidentally got into the hopper. Bob then signals Gene to back up his truck 6 to 12 inches from the spreader. After getting out of his truck to continue with the hookup procedure, Gene rechecks the auger for any obstacles. Then he and Bob remove the mounting pins and cotter keys from the mounting brackets on the spreader. They lay the pins and keys on the ledge on the side of the truck. Both of them push the spreader on the mobile stand to the mounting bracket on the truck and insert the pins. They connect the sander support arm and secure it with a cotter key. The next step is very crucial. It involves hooking up the hydraulic hoses on the spreader to the hydraulic couplings on the truck. First, Bob carefully wipes the ends of both the hydraulic hoses and the couplings. Just a little dirt on the ends not only makes connections difficult, that dirt can also get into the hydraulic system. Further, dirt and grit wear the couplings to a point where they leak and cause the loss of hydraulic pressure. Bob connects each of the hoses to the right coupling. The connection of the 3 hydraulic hoses to the right coupling is essential. The large line is the hydraulic return. The other 2 lines, one of which goes to the auger and the other to the spinner, can be identified by their terminals on the spreader. Bob then goes to the back of the truck and puts slack in the hydraulic hoses in the clamp on the bottom of the spreader. He then places the spinner support arm on the pin on the truck and secures the arm to the pin with the cotter key. Bob and Gene now remove the bolts connecting the spreader to the stand. Bob hands his A-frame to Gene, who bolts them together for easy storage when not in use. Bob then adjusts the tailgate chains so that the tailgate will be about 1 inch in the open position from the spreader's rear hopper plate. Working together, Gene and Bob remove the rear hopper plate. First, they remove the locking pins. Then they lift up the plate, which exposes the auger. Whenever the auger is exposed, be very careful to keep hands, loose clothing, and other objects out of the hopper. Then Gene gets into his truck and starts it up. Bob signals to Gene to start the spinner and auger so he can check that they are operating properly. Finally, Bob tests the hydraulic connections by running his hand around them and then looks at his hands. He rubs his fingers for any feeling of hydraulic fluid. His hands are clean, and the truck with its sander is now ready. It's an operation that drivers like Gene and Bob do skillfully and efficiently in a matter of a few minutes. Perhaps only one step from this procedure is missing: having every motorist join you one morning from the garage through the hookup, and then riding along in your cabs. That's the only way to really appreciate what happens out here as they pass you on a freeway, a lonely country road in the middle of nowhere, on an exit curve, or on a city street jammed with cars.
Lethal weapons impaling and decapitating unsuspecting motorists and innocent drivers. The stylish American mailbox, considered an extension of the American family, is decorative but dangerous, killing a number of Americans each year. Closely spaced mailboxes that are individually supported are a common sight along our streets and roads. However, film from this crash test and the results of other tests show a vehicle hitting this row of boxes creates what is called a ramp effect. The closely spaced boxes pile up, causing disaster on the open road. Foresight Products solved this problem with the V-Lock mailbox support system, which helps eliminate potential disaster and the dangerous ramp effect. The V-Lock mailbox support system folds up and is carried away upon impact. Now, multiple mailboxes can be installed safely with a minimum of risk to traffic. No more flying mailboxes or wooden horizontal supports to spear or penetrate the windshield, sometimes with fatal results. Upon impact, mailboxes and their brackets should not separate from their supports. In crash tests, Foresight Products brackets held and did not fly away from supports. The V-Lock system is the only accepted proprietary product discussed in the Guide for Erecting Mailboxes on Highways, published by the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. A typical homeowner can install the V-Lock mailbox system by hand, quickly and easily, in his own front yard. Homeowners can replace their own damaged boxes. Your V-Lock distributor not only offers a complete line of mailbox supports with all items to install single, double, or multiple mailboxes, but also the V-Lock base, post, and all brackets to mount the 3 classes of standard rural boxes. There is even a maintenance-free, dent-proof, weather-tight, one-piece molded polyethylene rural mailbox available. V-Lock is the only flush-to-the-ground, reusable yielding base system on the market today. As you have seen, V-Lock means safety and effectiveness. It meets and exceeds the standards set down by the U.S. government. It is so versatile, it adapts to any situation. And the bottom line, it saves money. Your V-Lock distributor can provide you with everything you need, including a complete cement and asphalt installation guide. Go with V-Lock and join the other governmental agencies from coast to coast who use the V-Lock system.